Hi, everybody. Welcome to NAUI's Dive Team Report. I'm your host, Greg Martin. You know, when you mention the word scuba to people, it conjures up different pictures in a lot of different people's minds, anywhere from vacation diving in some warm water resort to vintage diving with old-time gear from back in the 1950s, all the way up to today's big surge of popularity of technical diving. Now, I know we've talked tech diving before, but the popularity of this portion is just going fast and fast and fast. So I figured time to talk tech again. We've got Tim O'Leary on the line with us. Tim's the director of NAUI Worldwide Technical Training Operations, a course director for NAUI Worldwide, has his own business. So, Tim, what is it about this tech diving?
I think it's the age group of the divers that we have now. They're a little older. They're looking for new adventure, new excitement, and this is their avenue. This is the avenue that they can afford to take. They probably couldn't have taken when they were younger. It takes a lot of time, it's a lot of effort, and it does take some funding. And
it takes some extra training as well.
A lot of extra training, yes. Years ago, when I first started out, everybody was kind of in the closet. None of the agencies were accepting it, and certainly were codifying it. Now, all agencies are codifying it, accepting it, and training it, because it's what people want.
What does it take, Tim, to, as you said, the agencies are now jumping in and embracing this. What does it take to make sure, though, that the training is proper?
Discipline. So if you walk into one of these technical diving courses and your instructor leads you to believe that you can do this in maybe a weekend or 3 days, then you probably need to go look somewhere else. This takes an enormous amount of discipline and quite a bit of training and watermanship to do this type of diving, especially if you're going to be going beyond just decompression. You're going to be going into extreme exposure type diving.
So the agencies are all, are the agencies getting together and is this a combined effort with the agencies?
Not as of yet. There is a combined effort with the agencies on rebreathers, and that is the Rebreather Training Council, the RTC. So that is the first step that the agencies have taken really to combine and codify a minimum standard. So I would suspect that would happen amongst the agencies for all the other venues of technical diving. But as of yet, it has not.
We're also seeing manufacturers embracing the tech industry as well, aren't we?
Oh, yeah, that happened. That happened in the mid-'90s. As soon as they saw this coming, they started producing gear just left and right, which also led to some problems instead of solving problems. Back in the mid-'90s, even up until the late '90s, we had divers getting off boats that looked like they belonged on Apollo space mission and not a dive. So, yes, they have embraced it. One would hope that they could streamline the diver a little more, but the manufacturers have certainly embraced it.
So take a look in the future, Tim. Take a look 10 years down the road. What do you see?
Rebreathers. I think that's where this whole thing is headed. You can conduct deeper, longer exposure dives on rebreathers. So I think that is the future of diving, at least at this end, on the technical side. One would hope that the training becomes more disciplined and that the diving becomes more team-oriented, and that, of course, the manufacturers are going to continue coming up with new types of both closed-circuit and open-circuit devices. Yes, and as you go to the dive shows, you see just about all the manufacturers have some sort of closed-circuit or semi-closed-circuit device that they're selling.
You mentioned something there, Tim, that I want to take issue with for just a second. You mentioned hoping to see this kind of diving become more partner-oriented type of thing. And is that a problem in the industry right now with tech diving, as it tends to be more on the solo side?
Well, it can be, yes. I think when you look worldwide at some of the incidences, it tends to be less planned event and more of a just let's hop in the water and hope everything goes okay. Or what you see sometimes are just folks who just want to go out and go deep and say they've been there, doing a touch and go, not really a dive. So, yeah, I would like to see more team-oriented diving, more disciplined diving as an industry as a whole.
What's the first step? What's the first step when somebody has an interest in diving technical?
Well, for us, the course is called Intro to Technical Diving. The diver becomes familiar with technical gear configuration, doubles, and some of the watermanship skills, which now actually has checkoff lists for skills that we believe are necessary for technical diving. And those can be started in the pool and done in confined water. And then you also learn the discipline of dive planning, which is, again, can be longer, take more time than dive itself, especially when you start doing decompression planning and actually doing it on paper where you're watching your FO2s, your PO2s, your PN2s, et cetera, gas consumption, and reserve gases. So it can be time consuming. That's the first step.
Always, if you're interested in any aspect of diving, start with a local NAUI dive shop. If you have questions, of course, you can always check out NAUI.org, NAUI.org. Tim, we just hope the dive industry continues to embrace technical diving. We see it growing bigger and better all the time.
Well, we'll see. I certainly hope so.
Learn about technical diving. Take that next step. That's this episode of NAUI's Dive Team Report. I'm Greg Martin. Thanks for listening. I'll see you underwater.